There are 5 things pro YouTubers do in their videos that you probably don't, and it's the reason why their videos get millions of views while perhaps your channel is struggling to grow. It starts with something most of us probably neglect: sound design. Newer YouTubers tend to view sound as an afterthought. They'll script their video, film their video, edit their video, and then think, oh yeah, I need music, and throw a track or two down in the background. But pro YouTubers know that sound design has the potential to accomplish so much more than just adding ambiance. Pro YouTube editor Hayden Hillier-Smith dedicates over half the time he spends editing to music. And Mr. Who's the Boss has noted that one of the biggest improvements of his channel came on
the day that I decided, okay, I'm going to spend more time on music and try to create moods with what I'm saying.
Pro YouTubers intentionally use changes in music or sound effects to accomplish 2 very important things in their videos: to break up repetitive sections within the video and to invoke specific feelings within viewers, both of which dramatically improve a video's retention. How exactly do they do this? First, they'll spend an unreasonable amount of time listening to copyright-free music, paying attention to which songs or portion of songs make them feel a particular emotion. They'll start to build up a sound library of music sorted by feeling. Then, when it comes time to edit a video, they'll bring in music based on what feeling or mood they want the viewer to have at particular points. But it doesn't stop there. To take things one step further, pro YouTubers will examine their chosen tracks and look specifically for components like crescendos, stings, swells, and beat drops. They'll line up these components with specific moments in their video to intensify the feeling or to help transition from one song or video section to another. To see some of this in action, let's take a look at the intro to this video from Mr. Who's the Boss.
If you have lots of old black and white photos that you really wish were in color, put them through the Colorize app, which uses AI to recognize the characteristics associated with different colors to figure out what they should have been and paint them back in. Welcome to the first app video that I've made in almost 4 years, and hopefully the best I've ever made. I don't want this to be just another tech channel. I want to show you how you can use tech to actually make your life better, and I think these 15 apps do that. So let's go from the good to the great to the best in 2023.
If you ever search online for cooking recipes, then absolutely hate the fact that
Mr. Who's the Boss starts his hook in the middle of an upbeat song that gives that fast-paced, intriguing, exciting vibe he's going for. A beat drop transitions the hook into the intro. And after the intro, the music transitions into a different song to help you feel like you are now in the video. To apply this to your own videos, consider dedicating a full weekend to build up a sound library and learn the basics of sound design. And if you don't know where to start, follow this 3-step formula. First, watch your favorite creators and note down what music they use, when, for how long, and what the music makes you feel. After you have your list, browse through whatever you use for music. I use Epidemic Sound, I'll put a link below if you're interested, and listen to songs and parts of songs. Once again, writing down how they make you feel and what kind of content you think they'd fit for. This should be easier due to the previous step. And finally, turn the music you found into a sound library, complete with notes on how it makes you feel and when and where you'd like to use it. You may have heard the common YouTube advice to come up with a schedule, whether that be uploading a video every Friday or uploading 2 videos per week, and then sticking to that schedule no matter what. And while this advice is incredibly useful when you're just starting out on YouTube, as we start to get more advanced, this mindset can actually end up hurting you, your channel, and your viewers. No one knows this more than Ali Abdaal. He gets vulnerable about what chasing quantity over quality has done for his channel here.
There was a video we put out on the channel maybe last month, which ended up getting like a ton of dislikes for a very clickbaity kind of title. I was like, all the comments were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe what your channel is turned into. Like, this is awful. Sort it out." I was like, okay, this is actually these are all very reasonable comments. People have a point here. So I deleted the video, and that kind of led me on this soul searching mission of like, okay, how did we get to this point where I put out something that was objectively for the sake of I don't know what.
Ali goes on to detail how he realized that he'd been drinking the consistency Kool-Aid for so long that he just assumed that he had to churn out 2 videos per week no matter what, and how that ultimately resulted in churning out videos that he wasn't proud of and that his viewers were disappointed with. Rigid consistency works well for a while. For the first year or so, to help build up that YouTube muscle, there are a few things better than coming up with an upload schedule and sticking with it. But pro YouTubers know that after that muscle has been built up and you become comfortable creating videos, it's better to forego that consistency in favor of quality.
And I think when you give yourself that space to be able to take your time with things, you can do them better. And that was actually a really important moment to be able to kind of like make better videos. if I hadn't given myself that space, I might still be doing one video a day and they'd be terrible.
If you stick with consistency at all costs for too long, you lose out on the space and time it takes to actually measurably improve with each video. How do you know if you're ready for the quality over quantity switch? Keep prioritizing consistency until it no longer feels like climbing Mount Everest to upload a video. Maybe that takes 6 months or a year or 2. But once you feel like you could put out video week after week without much struggle, consider being more lenient with your upload schedule in favor of focusing much more on quality. Pro YouTubers plan their videos backward.
I think most YouTubers, when you reach a certain size, you start planning videos backwards.
What does that look like? Well, they start by thinking with a video topic, title, and thumbnail. They'll keep coming up with different title and thumbnail combinations until they can confidently answer yes to the question, will people click on it? After that criteria is met, they'll move on to the content itself, coming up with a basic outline or structure for the video. When thinking about the content as a whole, they'll ask, is it engaging? Is it delivering value? And will people finish the video thinking, whoa, I really like this person? Once they're able to answer yes to all of those questions, they'll take things further and think about what's the storyline, what's the subplot, and how are you keeping people engaged throughout the entire video? Only after figuring that out will they start working on the video itself. Yes, it's a lot of time to spend prepping for a video, but pro YouTubers know that if they put in the work beforehand, the video will have a much higher likelihood of performing well. This framework prevents them from spending countless hours creating a video that was doomed to fail from the very start. So if you're at a place where your video retention is high, and you're receiving lots of positive comments about your content, but your videos just aren't taking off, consider planning your next video backwards. After planning, creating, and uploading a video, pro YouTubers will use the data from their analytics to improve with each and every video. We've probably all spent some time poking around YouTube Studio, but what separates a pro YouTuber from an amateur is how they use the data they're given. What does that look like? Well, I've compiled a list of what analytics pro YouTubers actually look at, and I promise you, staring at your analytics 30 minutes after upload and obsessively refreshing every 5 minutes hoping for a 1 out of 10 is not how the pros use their time. Instead, they break it into 2 sessions. The first session is 3 hours after a new video is published. They'll compare the CTR of the new video to the average CTR of other videos they've uploaded in the same category, and they'll make an adjustment to the title or thumbnail if it's below that average. It's important to note here, sometimes this means not just looking at the overall channel average CTR that YouTube gives you. For Mr. Who's a Boss, a review video has a different average CTR versus a comparison video, versus a video essay, versus a more personal video. The more time you spend paying attention to individual CTRs, the more feel you'll have for the differences across categories. And you can even keep track of them yourself if you're equally as numbers obsessed and crazy as I am. After taking a look at the CTR and making title or thumbnail changes if needed, pro YouTubers will leave the analytics alone until 2 days after uploading. That's when session 2 will start, when they take a look at their retention graph. When looking at the retention graph, they look specifically for what the overall retention is, what the 30-second drop-off is, what sections had a steeper or flatter line, when there's a spike or dip, and which chapters people clicked on most. And based on that analysis, they identify what they needed to improve for future videos. For example, Mr. Who's a Boss noticed large drop-offs in the beginning of his videos. By turning his attention to what he said during these drop-offs, he realized that they were all caused by a specific action.
If I asked people to subscribe really early in the video, it was detrimental because you'd get a drop of like 20% of viewers potentially, but they wouldn't be subscribing, they'd just be irritated by the fact you've asked them to subscribe without showing them why.
Once he started to wait until further into his videos to ask for that subscribe, the retention of his videos and his subscription conversion improved. While I know it's tempting, if you're a newer YouTuber, don't spend hour after hour looking at your YouTube analytics. To use the data like a pro, only pay attention to the CTR after 3 hours and the retention graph after 2 days. Save the rest of your time for making good videos. Pro YouTubers know everything there is to know about their viewers and audience. It's one of the main reasons why they have such success in their videos. Trying to create a video without knowing much about your audience is like trying to cook dinner in the dark. You wouldn't have a clue what you were doing. Was that salt or chili powder? Pro YouTubers not only know exactly who their viewers are, but also use that knowledge to inform decisions about their scripts, channel, and content strategy as a whole. Take a look at how Mr. Who's the Boss applies his knowledge of his audience here.
When I'm scripting, I'm thinking of 3 different people.
Okay.
So there's 3 people I know in my life of different levels of, I guess, tech enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And so with every line, I've almost reached a stage where I'm scanning it, being like, is this interesting to all these 3 people? Would they watch this? Would they watch this? Would they watch this? Would they understand this? Is this funny to them? All that kind of stuff.
By knowing his audience to a T and then using that knowledge to make sure that a script is actually appealing to them, Mr. Who's the Boss is able to craft genius scripts that keep his audience watching through the end. It doesn't stop there though. Deep knowledge about their audience also prevents pro YouTubers from wasting their time doing the wrong thing. Watch MKBHD talk about why he's not chasing TikTok views here.
The demographics of our audience. So again, I'm 28. A lot of my audience is right from about 14 to 35, let's say. And endlessly, probably undefeated with creators, what I'll see is as they get older, their younger audience that was closer to their previous age becomes less interested. And I guess their older audience becomes more interested. So when I see TikTok, I'm like, that's where the youngest parts of my audience will inevitably be. If I want to reach that younger audience, I guess I should be on TikTok, but is that my goal? Or am I really just concerned with reaching the same people who are making a purchase decision, who have some disposable income, who have a choice to make about what piece of tech to buy, and maybe the age of those people isn't going to change.
The YouTube pros know their audience inside and out. How can you reach the same level of knowledge with your own audience? Build audience personas. It might be just one persona if you're very narrow in your niche, or multiple personas if you want your content to be more broadly appealing. But either way, answer these core questions about them. For reference, this is what the answers look like for one of my audience personas. To know your audience with the same intimacy as the YouTube pros do, take the time to build out audience personas. You won't regret it. While the tips mentioned in this video may seem daunting, it's okay. You don't have to scramble to apply everything everywhere all at once. The fact that you're watching this video right now means that you're intentionally putting in the effort to improve. And as long as that remains true, it's just a matter of time until you join the pros yourself. I will say though that all the tips mentioned in this video would be for nothing if you didn't know how to make a good video in the first place. So here's the complete playbook for how MrBeast solved YouTube retention. Thank you so much for watching. We're all in this together. Like and subscribe if you can, and I will see you in the next video.